Hello! Okay, so we are ready here on Instagram and on YouTube, and we are going to begin. I am so excited to get started with you guys. So, my name is Beijing Rodgers. I am your host on the talk show Wake Up and Deviate, where I interview successful self-starters who are killing it in today's different industries. Okay, so this is episode 10. Welcome. We have a very special self-starter for this episode. Her name is Baja Capri. Little Baja Capri. And she is a songwriter and performer who I have had the pleasure of knowing my entire life. And she finally has the honor of coming on the Wake Up and Deviate talk show. So, if you are ready, please help me bring in, can we see some applause? Let's bring in our guest for episode 10, Miss Baja Capri. Come on in. And the crowd goes wild. Come on down. Hello. Well, hello, Baja Capri.
Hi.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. You want to say hello to our viewers?
Hello, viewers.
You are online on Instagram and on YouTube. We've had some technical difficulty with Facebook, but that's all right. All right in the hood, right?
That's right.
All right in the hood.
In the hood.
Okay, Baja, so let's get started. Are you excited to be here?
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! Excellent. So how has it been being in quarantine?
Hasn't been as bad as I was expecting, because if you know me, you know I love to be around people. And I love to
Me
be
or
out of the house.
your viewers? Because I'm pretty sure that you have...
I'm speaking to them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have your viewers on, so if you see a name or someone you want to give a shout out, give that shout out, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to have questions that come in during this time, so we're going to stop sometimes to get their questions answered, yes?
Yes.
Remember, she is the songwriter and performer. So any questions related to that industry and genre, let her know. It's so exciting to have her on because she just released her latest her latest and first single called Walls. Guys, it is hitting the charts, okay? Walls is hitting all the charts. Every chart. We're not going to name them. Just every chart, Walls is there.
It's breaking down all the walls as well.
Exactly, in the charts. So, go check the song out. At the end of this interview, you will get her socials so you can connect with her. Yeah? Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hello, Shantae, for coming on. And
Hello, Blank United.
yes, thank you for stepping on in. Loving the lighting. The lighting's nice, no?
I'd like to think so, yes.
Great. So, Baja Capri, where do we create and build our relationship?
Well,
This is going to be a shocker for you guys. Well, hello, Golda. Welcome to the Wake Up and Deviate talk show. I'm your host, Beijing, and our guest, Baja Capri, the songwriter and performer, where I interview young people, self-starters, successful self-starters, who are waking up and deviating from into their greatness that they were created for. So now we're hearing from the songwriter and performer.
yes.
We're just gonna have her do a little thing for us. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think she can do this dance move. Come on, Baja, get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yes. So, where did we create and build our relationship? Where did that begin?
So I think it started when a man met a woman. Okay, stay with me. And I'm gonna have to say a kind of intercourse happened.
Whoa. We just got deep.
Yeah.
Hopefully there are no children in this. But keep going. I'm very interested.
Maybe they'll know where they're made. Anyway, so that happened, and then I believe you were born. I think so. Don't get me wrong. And then they did it again.
Wait, which part was that? Was that the intercourse?
Man and the woman.
The
did
intercourse?
Again.
For you
to make me.
So are we from the same man and woman?
Yeah.
And are you saying that's where we created our relationship?
Yeah.
And how did we build it?
So basically, we are what you call sisters.
Oh my gosh! Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that a man and a woman had intercourse, had me, then you and we are sisters?
Yes.
There you have it, guys. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
Thank you, Natalie.
Well done. Well done. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, so good, so good.
She did the course.
So good.
And this is a great commercial break to say this show has been sponsored by Montenero. So everybody, please get your Montenero. That is correct. A glass of wine is great for the heart, for women. For men, I am sorry. Not for you. So this show is brought to you by Montenero, brought all the way from Dubai. That's correct. Where I bought this headpiece. Just kidding. Did not. But it could look like it's from there. We have certain people trying to talk to us. Someone hire them, please. I missed the whole show. No, you didn't. This show just began, okay? So, thank you for the first question. Again, this is the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. I'm your host, Beijing, and this is our guest, Baja Capri, the songwriter and the performer. Excellent. So, let's get into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's get up here. Tell us, how did you get your idea to become a self-starter?
I have a question.
We already have a
What's
question.
your songwriting process like?
That is an excellent question. We will add that to the end. So please stay until the end.
Should we write that down?
And we will write that down, okay? So, how did you get your idea to become a self-starter? Again, if you have questions, please put them in and we will answer them toward the end. Excellent. So how'd you get started as a self-starter with your songwriting and your performing? And how or when did you know that songwriting and performing was the right idea for you?
So, so basically, my mother is a singer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is our mother. Y'all got it.
So, yeah, she's a singer. So I grew up with music. I grew up singing. She had all of us sing. All of my sisters and I sing.
Some of us didn't cut it.
But I was the only one that could keep up, I guess.
Okay.
And that enjoyed it the most and felt that it was a passion. So that's what I did.
Pause. I love singing. I enjoy it. I'm just not good as other people like Baja. But I love singing.
Yeah. Play. So Yes, that's where singing came. Also, if you don't know, I'm also a dancer.
You gotta show us something. You gotta show us something right here on the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show.
We'll see. And so that's where, yeah, the performer aspect, also singing, but I also perform dancing as well, comes into play. So how I started singing was in choir. I remember starting at Sagemont in Florida. Shout out to Sagemont.
Yes, Sagemont, school in Florida.
Our school in Florida. I was in 2nd grade, and I remember the most nerve-wracking part was taking the first step. But guess what? I didn't take the first step because we were in choir, and the teacher was like, "Who wants to sing this part of Firework?" And in my head, I kept going over it. I was like, "I got this. I can do this." So I could, okay, I can do this. I get there. She asked, "Who wants to sing it?" I was so hesitant. And she called on people like, "Would you?" And she called on me, and I was like, no. This was the first time fear actually took over my life. And I regret it.
Fear, guys. We're gonna be talking about fear during this talk show because I like to go in the nitty gritty. I'm not all about the glam and what everyone thinks being a self-starter is like. There is a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of fear that comes in play during your journey. And so I love to ask my interviewees about the fear and the nitty gritty. So thank you for bringing that up. See, fear is always a part of the process. Keep going.
So yeah. So I was asked, do I want to sing this part? And I've never really sung solo in front of people yet in 2nd grade. Just kidding. I did, but in the Bahamas. So no one in Florida has really heard me sing. And so I said no. And from then on, that was one of the most annoying things I've ever done. I don't regret. I'm not going to regret it. It was annoying because I could have done it, but I let fear stop me just from taking that first step. So yeah, that's how singing began, I guess. I got more serious about it when I moved to South America, Chile.
So at that moment when you first realized that singing was your thing, right? And you realized you liked this. When did you wake up to the notion that this was the right idea for you to continue to pursue? Because I think everybody wants to be a singer, everybody wants to be this performer, this songwriter, this dancer, this person on stage, but not everybody has the talent to do so. Like myself, I realized early that I'm not going to waste my time doing something when I know it wasn't the best for me. So I chose something else. I chose speaking because I realized I'm better at speaking and motivating. And with you slipped to singing for some reason. Why? When did you realize that was the right idea, the singing and dancing and performing aspect?
So I realized that.
Sorry, and before you answer that question, as you gather your thoughts, thank you for your questions on Instagram and both on YouTube. We are writing them down and we will address them toward the ending of the show. Continue.
So, I realized that. What's the question?
When did you know it was the right idea?
I realized that singing was the right idea from when, I'll say Chile, 2013. I knew it before, but I'll just say Chile 2013 because that was something that I was pretty good at and that I loved to do. Consciously or unconsciously, I'd always be doing it. And then one thing that I love more than singing is performing.
Mm. So what do you mean by that? When someone sees the performer, what does that mean?
So, I guess, I don't know why I love it, but I think I love it because I have a chance to express a music in a way that only I can express it and use and always have God's presence entered into the performance.
Ah, so that's deep. So it's an individuality that you bring, an aura that you bring when you step onto that stage and you perform a craft that God has gifted you with. It's everything you bring to the table. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Excellent. I wonder what other people's who are performers, why they love performing. It's excellent. That's beautiful. So after the fair, right? After you realize I'm gonna just come out, you're not a self-starter yet. You just realize that you're good at singing. You realize that you're good at dancing. You realize that you're a good performer, right? So all of these are, these are characteristics of being an artist, correct? When did you realize I need to step out and become a self-starter? I need to brand myself and become a self-starter and share this craft and talent with the world. When did those steps of deviation come into play? When did you deviate from your present norm of being in high school, doing what all high schoolers do, and just go to school, play, go out? When did you deviate from that norm to be like, wake up moment, there's more?
So,
hello to all the new people who just joined the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. You came in a great time. Hello, nephew Vaughn. I see you. Your rich auntie sees you. If you have any questions for the guest, Baja Capri, the songwriter and performer, please comment them below and we will address them toward the end of the video. So we're asking Baja right now, do you remember the question? How did you deviate from your present norm of being in high school when you said, I want to be a self-starter? This is what I want to do. What did those steps look like?
So, it started 9th grade in high school, and my school had a lot of musical opportunities, so I was like, I need to use this. Let me use this.
Your gift.
My gift.
Yes.
Both of them.
The singing and the dancing?
And the dancing.
Okay.
So singing started in choir class. I think I was the youngest one in that class.
Yeah.
And it was just genuine fun and joy.
Hmm.
The other days would be academics, and then when it's choir, just get to relax. I get to be myself. I get to sing. It was one of the best days.
You'd say like a little heaven on earth.
Yes.
Mm.
And I learned a lot with my voice, what my voice can do, what I can improve my voice to do. And
so it was like a training ground.
yeah. And through that, my teacher saw potential in me, and so whenever there were gigs or whatever, she'd always tell me, like, hey, this is coming up, would you like to enter? This is coming up, blah, blah, blah.
Opportunities.
And so I was like, yeah, of course, blah, blah, blah. And then...
y'all literally spoke blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, that's exactly what
happened. Oh
happened.
my gosh. So she said there's this singing gig, there's this dancing gig, and your response was blah, blah, blah.
No, it was, yeah, of course.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That, oh man. Mm-hmm. And then what happened next?
Then,
tell us what happened.
So that was that.
Next.
Okay. And then 10th grade came, went back into the class. So I was already there, I was already accustomed. There are obviously new people. But I'm still one of the youngest, but my teacher, she saw so much potential in me, and she put me in charge of the classes sometimes. I was just like, wow, this is really cool. She gave
for
me
her
the
to
space.
see that little speck of greatness and say, be in charge. No longer train, teach. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful moment. How'd you feel in that moment? Because that is a stepping stone as to who you are as a creator, as a self-starter, stepping into that part of yourself that you didn't know was there. How'd you feel about that?
I felt good. I felt like singing is one of my real passions.
When it was no longer trainee, but trainer.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So, by this point, do you think that you have become a self-starter yet? Do you think after the wake-up moment, when you're a child, and then deviating from your present norm of being just a high school student, but deviating from the norm of this is who I am created to be, I'm created to be a singer and dancer, did you think of yourself as a self-starter yet? Yes or no question? So, did you think of yourself as a self-starter yet? Yes or no?
Now, Josh and Jesus, you might have to ask that question again, please.
Yes, thank you, YouTube, for your questions. Instagram, please keep bringing in your questions. We see them, we're writing them down, and we'll address them to it at the end. And remember, welcome to my talk show, Wake Up and Deviate, and our guest, Baja Capri. And we're back. This is brought to you by Montenero. They send us free wine from Dubai. Thank you. I can't remember.
Okay, so I'm going to finish the story. So, 10th grade, my teacher put me in charge. Kind of in a way, she was still training me so that I still have the potential to figure out what I can do to train people's voices and my voice, and put me on spot to see if I'm actually ready for, the next levels. So yeah, and then 11th grade came, homeschooling, so I didn't have choir class. I did do side lessons at School of Rock.
So these are more training opportunities, that's what's happening.
But then I entered this nationwide competition in Santiago, Chile, and it was it was just a singing competition, and I performed. There were 2 levels. You perform, and then if you get called in, you perform again. And I performed, got called in, so I performed again for like the final finale. And after I performed, the judges came to me and said, "Are you a professional singer?" So I was like, what?
What does that even mean?
Exactly. Like, no, I'm just doing what I love, and yeah. And so,
the songwriting.
so yes. So that was performing.
Excellent. So when did you think you stepped out into songwriting? Into becoming a self-starter? Do you think the moment of becoming a self-starter was in your songwriting process? And this brings us to one of the questions that someone from our audience on Instagram has asked. What was the process of songwriting like?
Okay.
And was there something that put you into action of songwriting, that woke you up and said, my goodness, I have to start my songwriting?
So,
as she thinks, hello everybody else, Kasia and everyone else who are here with us on Instagram. Again, if you have questions for the songwriter and performer, please write them in on YouTube and Instagram, and we will address them toward the end. Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, when I became a self-starter, it was when I entered into Tri-M, which is Modern Music Masters, and we performed at every event. I went to different places to perform, and so I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. Singing and dancing, because I can incorporate them both, and they're both stuff that I love. And then during my time at homeschool, I saw another competition, which was nationwide, and it was songwriting.
Songwriting.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, something went down at my school that put a lot of people in a state of depression and confusion. And I wasn't at the school at that time, but I was like, I want to write a song about it. Let me write a song.
That was inspiration of you wanting to share a greater message to those persons who are affected by negativity. So that was a wake-up moment as to, whoa, something has to happen. Excellent. And then,
so I wrote the song long before the songwriting competition, but I never really did anything with it. And then my teacher tells me about this competition. I was like, okay, I have the time, let's do this. And so I did it, and he helped me with it, and helped me compose the music and did all that stuff. And then he took the video with me. He literally took me step by step, which was really awesome.
so
Shout
again,
out to Mr. Aguayo.
hey, from Chile.
Yes.
So again, you saw somebody there training you, mentoring you through the process of your songwriting capability.
Yes.
And that's where you'd say you got your training from.
Yes.
And that is where you'd say the beginning of you stepping out and becoming a songwriter.
Yes.
Was through a wake-up moment and inspiration to share a message.
Yes.
Excellent. And then something about a competition I heard through the grapevine, because I wasn't there. Okay,
So,
let's get there. Come on.
So
I entered into a competition.
Yeah. So we entered this competition, totally forgot about it. Then I get an email back, oh, you've been selected, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I was selected. So
You performed.
I performed.
There she is, the performer, yet again, another theme in who she is.
Yes.
And you performed as a singer, performing your own
Piece.
Wow! So your songwriting ability came to life in this performance. And this was this the first time that you performed an original piece?
This was the first.
How exciting was that? How did you feel about that?
It was an exuberating experience. I felt very good.
So when you think about all of that, we saw how you've had your wake up moments that led to deviation and the first steps to deviation from the norm, the current norm you're living in, being a performer as a child when all children were doing was playing, being a performer and songwriter during high school when all they were doing was their homework, but you said, no, I want to use my gifts, so you deviated from your norm. That's beautiful. But I want to ask you, what were some of the setbacks? What were some of those setbacks that you faced stepping out as a self-starter to bring this songwriter to fruition, to bring this singer into fruition, to bring this dancer into fruition? What were those setbacks?
Well, for songwriting, the main setback, and the main setback that still is does this make sense?
Is it a fight, a conflict with what society says?
Not really, because I don't care what society says. I write from what God wants me to write. But actually translating that into words, that's the harder part. So you have to ask yourself, does this make sense?
The songwriting process.
Songwriting. And then for singing, it's the fear of whether you're actually going to sound good or not.
So am I good enough is the narrative.
So you practice. Now with dancing, it's the constant comparison with everyone else around you. So there are many setbacks in everything you do, but you have to remember that you're there for a reason and you're good enough. You might not be better than the other person, but that's not what it's for.
That's excellent. So there are definitely setbacks there, situations, comparisons that took you away from greatness. So what were some of the mistakes you wish you could have avoided throughout this process of becoming this great songwriter that we have of today's world? This great, successful songwriter that we have. So the mistakes.
Okay, the main mistake would probably be not practicing enough, for me personally.
Why?
Yeah, because
Mother, I hope you're listening.
you sing a song, you're asked to sing a song, you practice it, but it's not until weeks. So you don't really think about it until like the day of or 2 days before. And you just cram it all in when you could have just been practicing throughout the whole time. But it still turns out the way it's supposed to turn out, in my opinion. Good.
So now when you get these gigs that are just piling up, all these people are trying to get you, Baja Capri. I see your name everywhere. They're trying to get you to perform at their gigs. So now you're going to practice, correct?
No, I've always been practicing, just not as much as I could have.
So now you're going to start practicing.
No, I've always been practicing. There's just some times when it's just not as much as others.
So practicing is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Excellent. So how, we already know now the setbacks, the mistakes, and you shared a lot about the fear behind stepping out, which is a beautiful thing because that's where courage comes from. If there wasn't fear, then there wouldn't be any need to be brave, to show courage. And with fear, you're supposed to look fear in the face and face it anyway, yeah? And so it's hard though. It's hard to look fear in the face and face it anyway. I can tell you countless times about myself of when I had to do that, man, and I'm just vomiting and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to run away and go home because I'm tired, you know? But you got to just swallow that, say a little verse. Mine is Joshua 1 verse 9, verse from the Bible. And let that, fester within you, give you the power that you need to go out there and kill it. So for you, when fear comes and you just got to face it anyway, what is a little something that you do to overcome it?
I just pray.
A little prayer. Beautiful. Now, do you regret waking up and deviating from the norm?
No. Never.
Why? Why?
Because
I just want to say hello, Baja Yogi, for stepping on the live. That is just excellent and so cool. Welcome, Baja Yogi and Kasia and Adorn and Shantae. Thank you all for joining from our Instagram family and from the YouTube. Thank you for joining the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. Again, we have the most famous songwriter and performer, Baja Capri, right on the side of me. You guys are just going to have to look and listen after this is over how we met. It's a crazy story how we met, Beijing and Baja. Crazy story. But you don't regret waking up and deviating from the norm.
no, I don't.
Excellent. So now that we're at the ending of the talk show, I know, so sad. Come on, keep those tears up, girl. Be strong, be strong. What do you attribute to your success as a self-starter? What do you owe? What do you attribute to the success that you have as a songwriter and performer, as a self-starter? What do you owe to that success? Before we get to the last question of the talk show, please, this is the time when you send your answers in. This is the time when you send your questions in, because we have one more question and then we're going to roll with a Q&A session. Okay? So, what do you attribute to your success as a self-starter?
Well, so basically, all thanks to God. He gave me this talent. He gave me this talent for a reason. So that's basically what I've been doing since I realized that I can sing and dance.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So you attribute your success to the Lord.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And we're talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the last question, what is the greatest advice you would give someone who has an idea? Who has an idea of what they want to do, who has an idea of what they want to be, but needs to take their first step of deviation from the norm to become that successful self-starter they want to become. What is that advice? They're in idea mode right now, but they're fearful, they're scared, they're distracted, they're lazy, they're procrastinating, they're confused on getting started. Advice.
My advice would be, right now, nothing's happening, so don't let fear stop you from making something happen. Because the worst that could happen is what? You know? But the best that could happen is you start your ideas and they start getting off the ground.
I'm so sorry. I'm not sure I followed through. Just one more time. I feel like there's a point to that, but I'm not entirely sure. So let's just try that. Let's try that one more time. Yes, let's reel that in one more time.
Just go for it. Right now, nothing.
I feel a little aggressive.
Is happening.
Aggression?
Okay? So just go for it. The answer is already no, so make it a yes.
I'm so sorry. If you understand that advice, you do it. If you don't, neither do I. But awesome. Thank you, Baja Capri, for coming on the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. I'm your host, Beijing Rodgers, and the guest, you're going to say it.
Baja Capri.
That's right. She is the songwriter and performer. Anything in regards to that you want to watch this episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Self-Starter. Please follow me on Instagram, Beijing.Rodgers, Beijing like the city. Easy, easy. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Baja, B-A-J-A, Capri, C-A-P-R-I-I. You can find me on Facebook, Baja Rodgers, B-A-J-A, spacebar, R-O-D-G-E-R-S.
Excellent. So now we have entered the Q&A section of the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. So please send the hardest questions you can. So Ms. Baja over here can answer them, anything, all things related to songwriting and performing, because that's what she's an expert in and that's what she's successful at. So, question number 1, and this is from Instagram by a lady named Golda. Welcome, Golda. She asks, how has living in different parts of the world played a role in developing your craft as a songwriter performer?
Well, living in different parts of the world has played a role by giving me different opportunities to sing in different places and opening my eyes up to different cultures and seeing what different cultures enjoy as music. And I think if I never moved to Chile, I wouldn't have been so passionate about my music or my dancing, because that's where most of it evolves professionally.
Excellent. Excellent. Who said that? Okay, and we have another question, and this person is from our YouTube audience. His name is Sean. Shout out to Sean. I think he is from the Bahamas. What a paradise. I hope to go there one day. Just kidding. And his question states, what did the songwriting process look like? I do think you shared some of that during the interview, but a little quick version for those who are new to the show.
Well, right now I'm in the midst of creating an album.
Did you hear that? An album!
Yes. With Sketch. Shout out to Sketch.
Shout out to Sketch. Sketch should definitely be in this.
And I'm giving this whole album to the Lord. So I get into the studio. I have no idea what I'm going to say. All I know is a topic. And I start listening to the music. We start creating music. And boom, I just start typing. So
Boom!
like,
She just started typing. That is exciting. Wow, you just start typing. I just want to give a shout out to some supportive best friends, man. I've got Brandon all the way from the Bahamas and Ale all the way from Chile on the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. Let's shout out for the friends that actually support your craft. Excellent, excellent. So thank you, Badger, for that question. Remember, guys, this is the Q&A section of the talk show, meaning the end. So if you have any questions, please write them down, and we will be sure to answer them for any of you who want to become a songwriter and performer like
Baja Capri.
Excellent. So the next question is from Jewel. I think she is from Long Island. She is asking, does having God in your life help you with your craft?
It's most likely the only reason I've gotten as far as I've gotten.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Excellent. The answer is yes. And the other question is from Josh from the US of A, America. And he is asking, do you draw any inspiration from any 90 female stars in the 90s? Did they help you in your process?
Okay.
You?
No. I don't draw my inspiration from people. It just comes from the Holy Spirit.
Excellent. So no Whitney, no MJ, Michael Jackson, none of those ones?
No.
Excellent. And the last question of the Q&A section is from a lady named Shantae from the eastern part of the Bahamas. Thank you for this question. Will you step out in the Bahamian music scene?
I'll definitely get involved, of course, because that's where I'm at right now. So yes.
So is that a yes?
Yeah.
Or we're saying yes?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Guys, check Baja Capri in the Bahamian music scene. You don't want to miss it! Guys, this is the Wake Up and Deviate Talk Show. I'm your host, Beijing Rodgers, and this was episode 10 with our guest,
Baja Capri,
the songwriter and the performer. Please watch the rest of this video. We will send the links on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, The Self-Starter. And for more goodness on becoming a successful starter, follow me, Facebook, Instagram, Beijing Rodgers. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys, and I'm praying for you guys. And don't forget to wake up and deviate from the norm. Just like what my shirt says. Okay, excellent. And if you want to dig deeper into what it means to become a deviator and what it means to wake up and deviate from the norm, I have written a 5, and I mean 5 series, book series on how to do that. How to wake up and deviate from the norm, how to embrace your difference, how to pursue your passions, how to light your vision, and how to step into the greatness that you were created for. Okay, and that is it. Thank you, Instagram family, and thank you, YouTube family. I am so sorry, Facebook family, that you weren't able to connect this time, but next time. Okay? Love you guys, and we're out.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Oh.